its coding. This chapter, Introduction to Chemistry, has multiple topics, so we are just going to split it into multiple videos. And in this video, we are going to learn about pure and impure substances. So, as we already know, matter is divided into living and non living. Living is something completely different, we'll not deal with that now. So, non living is divided into pure and impure substances. So pure and impure substances. In this, a pure substance is something that's entirely made up of same kind of particles. If I say, hey look, this water is pure, what does that mean? It means that that water has nothing else. It only has water molecules. But if I say, I have impure water, what does that mean? It does not only have water, it could have some pollutant in it, contamination. Not only contamination, it could have some mineral content, some salt content. It's not entirely made up of water. It's not pure, it's not in its purest state. It has some other constituent also. So I hope you all know what a constituent means. A constituent is a part of something. So for example, if I take some sugar solution, its constituents are sugar and water. So those are the constituents of sugar solution. So now, coming to this topic, pure substances are divided into elements and compounds. So what's an element? An element is made up of the same kind of molecules, but for example, oxygen, okay? So on dividing this, oxygen is O2, right? So on dividing this oxygen molecule, further division also, you will get two oxygen atoms which also exhibit similar properties. Similar properties of this initial oxygen molecule, right? So an element is made up of similar kind of atoms. The molecule of an element is made up of the same kind of atoms which exhibit the property of that element. So its smallest particle is atom. Atom is the smallest particle of an element which exhibits all of its properties. In the case of compounds, if I take water for example, water is H2O. On splitting water, what do I get? I get two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. If you take hydrogen and water, what can you observe? Water is a liquid. Hydrogen is a gas. The state is different. If you take oxygen and water, water is a liquid. Oxygen is a gas. Water is a non-supporter of combustion. Oxygen is a supporter of combustion. So as you can see, the properties are completely different. They are not made up, the molecule is not made up of the same kind of atoms. So that's what a compound is. Its smallest particle that exhibits all of its properties is a molecule. A compound is made up of one or more elements. So what are some examples for elements? Sodium, chlorine, oxygen, hydrogen, helium. All of these are examples for elements. What about for molecules? Sodium chloride, water, hydrochloric acid, sodium hydride. All of these are compounds. They are made up of different kind of elements. So this is what an element and a compound is. So now let's take a look at impure substances. Impure substances are otherwise known as mixtures. Why? They are made up of different items, right? So the main difference is, if you take compounds also, they are made up of different elements. But the main difference is, this compound, it has a fixed ratio, H2O. This is only water. If you make it H3O, it becomes hydronium. That's a completely different thing. If you make it H2O2, it becomes hydrogen peroxide. If you make it HO, it's hydroxide. So like that, only in a fixed proportion, it is water or it is sodium chloride. So it needs a fixed proportion, a compound. But if you take an impure substance, a mixture, in this water, you can add how much ever salt you want. 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons. How much ever you mix, it's going to be a salt solution only. So that's what the main difference between a mixture and a compound is. So impure substances, that is mixtures, are further divided into homogeneous and heterogeneous substances. Homogeneous and heterogeneous substances. So what are homogeneous? Homogeneous means the constituents are uniformly mixed. If you take this again salt solution, if I add some salt and if I stir it for some time, what will happen? That salt will get completely dissolved in that water. I cannot say, hey, this is water molecule, hey, this is salt molecule, right? Because you cannot see the difference. They are uniformly mixed together. You cannot find any separate particles of the constituent. But in the case of heterogeneous mixtures, they are not uniformly mixed. If you take the namkeen mixtures, that is your snacks, you can see separately. This is the curry leaf. These are the peanuts. This is the bundi. You can see it separately, right? You can differentiate the constituents. So that's what a heterogeneous mixture is. Yeah. So that's all for impure substances. There are many methods for separating it. All of that we'll learn in another video. So the last division, elements. Elements are further divided into metals, non-metals, metalloids, and noble gases. So metals, they are monoatomic. That is, what is atomicity? Atomicity states the number of atoms in a molecule. If you take O2, its atomicity is 2 because it has 2 oxygen atoms. Sulfur is S8. It has 8 atoms in its molecule. So that's the atomicity. So metals are monoatomic in nature, which means they have only one atom in them. Non-metals, they can be diatomic, mostly diatomic. Okay, so non-metals are diatomic and these are basic in nature. These are acidic in nature. Metalloids, they share properties of both metals and non-metals, while noble gases are unreactive. They do not take part in any chemical reaction. So these are the further divisions of elements, and of course in other videos we'll go deeper into each of these concepts because chemistry is a very vast subject. That's all for today's video, friends. Hope you understood the concept. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Until then, goodbye friends.